And welcome back to the pod. For those of us who are doing the podcast video because you're a Patreon subscriber, you get to watch us be really fucking silly on camera, which I never do. Uh, uh, with me, I have two of the members of Rochester's local MoodPill, Erin and Pyntch. Is it?
Yep.
Yes. And I'm going to be interviewing them today, / we're probably going to get into a whole bunch of messy things. But mainly I want to talk about music and their music to be particular. I'm a big fan. I don't like to miss your shows lately, and it's unfortunate we haven't been able to see you guys.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We met at a gig that we were playing. One of our most popular videos of us is a video that you took.
Oh, the Tool one. Yeah.
10 million views,
10 million
at
views.
least. And you're also the only submission of actual fan art that we've ever done. So,
Cheers to that.
we haven't turned on the top fan badge, but when we do,
Nice. Yeah, you guys rock. The Tool cover you guys did that night was like phenomenal. Especially being a female singer, it is so much cooler. Like,
Yeah, and at a lot of the gigs we do with a lot of real heavy bands, be the only female singing, and sometimes the only singing you'll hear in the night. But
yeah.
we're kind of still heavy as hell. So it's kind of like this nice break in those nights. But it's
You always gave me like a 90s feel. You guys have that 90s rock metal feel, honestly. It's very like whole kind of.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where it came from.
Yeah, I'm older than I look.
Yeah, I'm so old. I am so old. Just kidding. No, but me and Mike, the bass player, started the band back in 1996. So you're saying 90s, like, I mean, that was my, awakening, my becoming, and I discovered
Right.
my body, all that stuff,
Well, that goes into one of my questions about how the band really started. How did MoodPill become MoodPill?
Well,
This is a great story.
it is a great story. And I would say, oh, I wish Mike was here to participate, but Mike doesn't remember a lot of things. I don't remember a lot of things too. Sometimes you need that whole like whatever. But he was playing in a band, and then I was through church doing a production of Jesus Christ Superstar, where I played Mary. And he saw me in that, and he loved it so much, and he was like, "I want you to sing in my band," and that was kind of how it started. And yeah, then that lasted for a couple years back then, and then big, fights and breakups and
Well, we should also touch on the fact that you had posed a question to us in an earlier correspondence about our being in a relationship.
Yes, you guys are in a relationship, right?
Yeah. This is our house where we live. But way back then, her and Mike were almost married, left at the altar. Something crazy happened.
Wow.
So,
and it's funny, not funny, because I was in a relationship with Mike at that time, and then when everything happened, when we broke up and then the band broke up, it hurt me so much, and I made it a rule from that time forward, I would never date anybody in the band. You don't date somebody in your band. It's bad for business. I love the music, and it's important to keep that kind of pure on its own. And then
one day at a Salvation Army,
I picked this guy up.
I was actually shopping for records, and I had picked up the Jesus Christ Superstar vinyl record.
It's a big theme with Jesus
Which
Christ
is how
Superstar.
her and Mike met. And, we just kind of, I told her then I was a bass player. I've been a bass player my whole life. I play guitar in MoodPill. It's the first band I've ever played a guitar for. Right when we met, and I was hanging out here all the time, they had band practice every Sunday. And right when they got a great drummer, they lost the great guitar player.
Oh.
So they would all practice together, just bass and drums and her singing. And I loved it. Great music, great stuff. But I'm not a guitar player. I didn't want to be a guitar player. I've never played guitar in a band. But at the same time, I'm listening to these same songs every week, and it's just the three of them. And like, boy, I could go down in the basement. I could make some noise on a guitar. That way, I don't hate Sundays. They don't hate practice. It's something. And when they find a guitar player, I'll teach them all the songs. I don't want to be a guitar player.
I mean, I did. I fought it tooth and nail.
We all fought it.
I mean, we would go out to like open jam at Murph's and stuff, and with him as the guitar player, but also announcing that we're looking for a guitar player.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want him to be in the band.
I'm not a guitar.
And then the reason I made this rule in the very beginning, Mike Mortimer, bass player of MoodPill, he's the one who told me, no, we have to have him in.
Yeah, and
so he's the one who made me make the rule, and then he's the one who made me break the rule.
18 years later.
Like, but yeah.
Are you still looking for a guitar player?
No,
I've just accepted my fate.
That is tragic. Bass is quite an instrument.
Yeah, man, I'm great at it. I always say there are better bass players in this town than me. There's 1,000 better bass players than me, but I'm the baddest.
And he does still play bass. He's in some other bands and whatnot.
She allows me to play bass.
Oh, shut up. But I bought him a guitar and he hasn't looked back.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys though that is so like easily talented, He's like, oh, I suck so bad. Like, okay, whatever. He's like, how do you play this thing? Does it go like this? Like
Self-deprecation. So it's being humble. My partner Pat, he's a bass player. He's very humble about his skills, but he is very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's better to err on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
As an artist, we always look bad on our work. We're always like,
worst critiques.
Yeah.
Think about all of the guys you've met who are like, oh, dude, I'm so good at guitar.
Ugh.
You never are.
Gross.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
All those guys suck. To be honest.
All those guys suck.
That's why I say I'm not the best bass player.
Yeah.
I'm possibly the worst, but I'm the baddest.
Yeah.
I do bad things. I like it.
So, I mean,
and every bass player has to have that little bit of Sid Vicious in them, right? So I get to say it once a year. I say I'm the baddest. I know it's not true. I just get to say it.
Fair.
But yeah, I think we have formed a really good foursome that we got going on right now.
And
I mean, Casey is phenomenal.
This drummer, Casey.
This drummer. Every time I get off stage, people are like, "You're a drummer." I was like, "I know."
A good drummer's hard to find these days.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Lucky, and we're so lucky. And he's younger than us, but an old soul kind of dude.
Yeah.
But he keeps us hip with all the kids' lingos.
Yeah, he does.
I know how to yeet things now.
Yes. Yeet, motherfucker.
That's skeet.
Oh, wait.
That's
sorry.
Skeet. Yeah, skeet and yeet.
Oh, is that skeet and yeet? That's
Yeah.
In your hand, and then you throw it?
Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
boy.
It needs a shirt.
Boy, I guess for a successful skeet and yeet, to something, and you have to swing on it like a vine in your Tarzan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Neat.
Boy, those vitamins are fucking me up.
So, how long have you guys been playing music exactly? You started in the 90s, so presumably, 20 years?
Right.
Yeah. I think I gave myself my own 25th anniversary as a bass player the other day.
You did.
Yeah. Well,
Is that why you were wearing that hat and singing in the mirror?
I was in a band way back in 1994. Started a good hardcore band called Gerber in Rochester. We were all babies, so we were the Gerber babies. And we just had a reunion gig over
I wish you could have been
Christmas.
at that show. That was one of our greatest shows.
Yeah, MoodPill and Gerber both played a
Tryon.
gig together.
I would have been 4.
Yeah.
I
And,
would
you
have
know,
been.
and admittedly, I played bass like I was 4 back then. We evolved. I've been in this version of the band coming up 2 years. 2 years. And it was a very quick transition from filling in on Sundays to being a full-fledged guitar player. And I think I still play the guitar like a bass a lot. A few people have mentioned it. So it's very rhythmic and percussive in the riffing that we end up doing.
I don't think you can ever get that out of you, though.
Nope.
Part of it. Like a bass player is kind of like a percussionist in a way.
I've been real lucky to have been playing since I was about 16 with a guy named Nate Coffey, who is a local legend, monster guitar player. So I studied his work inside and out as I was emerging as a bass player. And he's very much Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray, and then some of the more modern players. And so a lot of that was just ingrained into my soul, learning these songs of his as a bass player. And it was kind of crazy how I was able to step into a guitar situation and channel Nate Coffey and make solos happen. You know, and there's a lot of bass solos in my guitar solos. But yeah, as a bass player for so long, that's when we started playing. She was probably singing a lot longer than I've been playing bass. Doesn't like to admit she's a great piano player, a better piano player than I am.
No, I don't. No.
She's a badass guitar player.
Wow.
Yeah, she likes it when I play guitar, so she can be Axl Rose.
I do like to just focus on the one thing.
And good.
Playing and singing is hard.
Well, and it's not even that. It is, I feel like, because I am so little, I am a tiny person, too big to be getting like a handicap sticker, but which is unfair. I think they should review it on a personal basis because I can barely see the bugs. But anyway, they gave me a license anyways. But you know, like I have small hands, and you know, I get tired, fatigued really fast. You know, like I just feel like if I had like those long fingers, like
you would sing better.
I would play a guitar better. Yes, if I had longer fingers.
You could get a baby guitar, 3/4 guitar.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you bring a mandolin into the band,
No, I'm not gonna play
on fire. I hate a mandolin more than anything, and I can't explain it. Smash them all.
So, as musicians, who inspires you the most? Like, who did you idolize, or still do?
You know, again.
Can I answer a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I took a breath.
Hey, he's a guitar player. He doesn't get to sing and get all the goo eyes at him every day.
True.
It is true.
Although
he has a mic now on stage, which
yeah, and
So
bass
there's a
players,
platform.
you
we're
know,
not answering your
for the
question.
historical.
I feel like we're in the White House press secretary.
I'm just
What is
saying,
your question? Oh, we're talking about something else.
I'm just saying I've moved up a step. Bass players never get the show. Now I'm a guitar player. It's like sometimes they look at me now.
Oh my god.
Back to the question, who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I mean, this is my desert island artist, 100%, hands down, Tori Amos. I love her.
Wow.
I just feel like we're like parallel soul sisters kind of thing. I mean, she is the daughter of a preacher. I'm a daughter of a preacher. She writes lyrics that don't make sense. I write lyrics that don't make sense sometimes. Like where she goes with music is out there. People don't understand her, and I feel like I'm not understood. Like she's one of those that, I mean, she's just insanely talented. And every time I've seen her live in concert, last time was like 10 years ago, and I was in Durham, North Carolina, and I was 6th row, and it was perfect because you could just see, because she straddles the bench. I can't do it right now. But, she straddles the bench while she plays, and I could just like look at her crotch. It was amazing. But yeah, she's somebody that is definitely that is an artist that is, under the big.
I personally have a wide variety of influential musicians whose crotches I enjoy staring at. But it's all kind of
transition and perfect.
It's all kind of spread across genres, major influences. I feel like there's one or two artists in every genre that's been an inspiration. Not every, but I like rap, but I don't like all rap. I like a very select, niche market of like old school boom bap New York hip hop. The Wu-Tang Clan, Czarface on the East Coast, Gangstar, a lot of that good old hits. But I am a big techno head. The Bass Bin Twins and like DJ Dan, Fatboy Slim, those break beats really influence a lot of everything I do musically. Bass or guitar is kind of rooted in like hip hop and techno.
Yeah, and I did take a listen to one of your dubstep remixes.
Oh, yeah.
It is very 90s. It is very 90s, and it's awesome. Like, honestly, in my opinion, I love Zombie Nation.
Well, and those remixes are kind of a challenge for me as far as getting anything that's not a 90s tone. 99% of what's making up those remixes is an actual cut and sampled from our studio takes. I have our masters from the studio. So all of the bass sounds that you hear are the actual bass player cut up and made into a bass.
Yeah, he does a lot of work.
That's like ridiculously old school.
Hey, you gotta do something in this quarantine.
Hey, you're totally right.
I mean, it's like looking at these songs in a different light,
and my time
bringing out.
My time is gonna come. You say it's 90s and old school. Right now, everybody's on this 80s thing. So a couple more years.
Retro is right. Yeah, and put that jean jacket back on.
Dan. Jeez.
I don't know.
Where's my Jenkos, honey?
Oh man,
I got rid of my Jenkos. I would totally be wearing them right now.
I had the Hot Topic version of Jenko jeans.
Man.
I got lots of UFOs upstairs. I almost wore them, except for they're a little hot. There's like those parachute pants that.
And then, also I like to think, at least with the intro to that dub, the dubstep as a thing is kind of more 2000s, and I tried to get a little bit more of a modern edge, at least structurally, as far as that dubstep goes. Kind of stay modern, but by the end of the song, I've gone into like a Latin house beat, which is so 90s, and then it breaks down into like this like hip hop funk. But again, I kind of felt like the outro has a nice modern twist on that also.
I would I'm gonna take a moment and pause and going to.
Sure. Oh, that shit was dope.
Ha.
I'm such a dissenter.
That's why she
Oh.
I listen to the rules.
So, any other influences at all? I know you only listed one, Erin, but
I know. Because that's my go-to. I do love all types of music. Country is my least favorite, although, that being said, there's a picture of Kenny Rogers on my wall right there.
Kenny Rogers is a different type of country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I did sing with him 2 years in a row when I was a child.
Wow.
It was actually just 2 shows. When he would come into Rochester, it was like in the kid portion. Went up there and did like the whatever, the Christmas songs and opening the present. And there's a puppy, and you're like, oh, you know.
Did Kenny Rogers let you keep the puppy?
Kenny Rogers let me eat the puppy.
Where do you think you got roasters from?
Oh, Kenny Rogers.
I'm sitting here thinking of influences and thinking about how if I was to really list off influences, it might not directly tie into what I would tell you like my favorite music is right now.
Right. Well, what is your favorite music right now?
Oh, man.
I think we're a little bit spoiled and inundated with music due to Spotify, which I love. I think it's great. It has changed the way that we listen to and purchase music, because sometimes we don't buy an album anymore and listen to the whole thing. Like, I can't even remember the last time I was like, oh, this. Well, okay, that's not true.
She refused to
Kanye.
give me...
Anytime Kanye comes out with something new, I'll listen to his whole album on Spotify, of course. But
she refused to give me
Childish
a Spotify
Gambino.
login for years. Because she enjoyed the fact that I still listen to CDs and...
Yeah, I did. I tried to I withheld it from him because we have the family plan.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I had it on, but I didn't want to give it to him because I was like, this is awesome how he loves to push a CD in the car stereo or like whatever. And we tend to not do that a lot anymore. And I definitely love these.
So who's your favorite music right now? Is it still Kenny Rogers?
No.
No.
It depends on my mood. That was my whole point of it. Okay, sometimes you feel like listening to Whitney Houston and Britney Spears. She's dope, by the way.
It's embarrassing how often we listen to ourselves at home.
Well, and that's
we're always playing our own album.
That's
but
it's pretty good music.
It is.
Well, and since we haven't been jamming, we haven't seen the guys. We haven't seen Casey or Mike yet. We'll go downstairs and do karaoke.
Yeah.
Hey, however you scratch your itch, man. I live with a musician. I completely understand. He is itching to practice so bad that he went out and bought an amp so he could play by himself at home, and it just depresses him playing by himself.
It's dude, I miss it so much.
I know I've been real lucky to be able to sit down and craft beats. I know that scratches the itch.
He goes into got the headphones on and in the computer and he making these remixes and stuff and
what am I listening to now? I'm really upset that the Amigo the Devil was canceled at the Lilac Festival. He's this murder folk artist. He's been one of my favorites lately. I've been listening to a lot of old stuff, and I guess a major influence as a guitar player would be the guy from Faith No More. Find myself, as I'm writing riffs, I didn't even know it, but as I'm where do I know this chord I just think I came up with from? And it's back from these old Faith No More albums, yeah. But that's a great band I think is influenced and is also what I'm currently listening to.
I like 60s surfer rock. That's fun.
Oh, the Steadwells are a local Rochester band. They're my favorite thing in the world right now. If you can listen to the Steadwells, you should. They're great. They're kind of like a little bit 90s also, but then with some more of the early 2000s.
I just fact-checked myself, and I forgot that I actually did just listen to a CD the other day, a whole CD in an entirety, and that was Buffalo Sex Change.
Another Rochester.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah,
So
Buffalo.
I correct myself. They had given me a
Wow.
CD, and I finally put it in the other day and listened to it. But yeah, I mean, it's so easy to just go on your phone and pull up whatever, you know, which is great. It's awesome. Everything is like right here at your fingertips. But you know, when you had to do more physical action, even if it's putting the CD in. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
and not all cars have CD players now, but they have aux cord put-ins.
Oxford.
Yeah.
Use my lunch money all week and buy a tape every Friday.
Yeah.
at the record time on Monroe Avenue.
Yeah.
I remember recording things off the radio on cassettes.
Yes. Absolutely. I need to be a fly, man. And you're like,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
WBER, oh, the top 20
right now,
or whatever, 100 songs.
Still, when I listen to "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel, right at the outro where it's and the conga drums and it's fading out, I still expect to hear that was bit. Off the radio, and then I hit pause to not get Billy Joel. Ooh, that's a great name for a hip hop dude, Billy Joel.
That could be your hip hop avatar.
Yeah.
Illy Joel. But yeah, I mean, the lengths you went to, what you had to do to find music before, and now it's just so easily accessible, and it is because it can, you know.
It also is, there's not as much advertising for music right now as there was. Like, you don't know always about new albums because they don't get advertised the way they used to. And you kind of get stuck in a music bubble where it's just like the same songs over and over again.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I suppose it's a double-edged sword, though, when I do have like Spotify notifications for certain artists that I wouldn't get notified about anywhere else.
Right.
It's nice that you can pick and choose some real bubble type stuff, but at the same time, there could have been a new Beatles album and I wouldn't know.
Beatles are overrated anyway.
You know, I was just in Manchester, England, and I was, what is the name of the street called? Wherever the
Abbey
Beatles,
Road?
Is that what that's not what it's called. Mitchell Street or something. And the cavern, where the Beatles were discovered. I went to the bar next door. What? You didn't see that coming. I was right there. I could have gone right in to be like, I'm in the bar where the Beatles were discovered. No, I went to the bar.
Yeah. I mean, they made history. You know, you gotta give them credit where credit's due, but they are incredibly overrated for anyone nowadays. Like, who actually enjoys listening to the Beatles if it's not your great-great-grandfather?
You know, there's the Abbey Road album, and I was kind of like raised on it, so that'll always have a place in my heart. And it might make the list of like 5 albums you get to take with you. That might be one of them, but really just for like the last 5 songs. You know,
I do enjoy the Broadway show that they did. I've listened to it.
The remix Love album. That's like,
is that what it's called? I don't know.
Love. It's all remixed. Like remixes like I make.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like a history band, but they're just, you know.
Stones are overrated too. I'm just gonna say it.
You know, a lot of people don't want to admit that certain music just isn't relevant to a lot of people now. It's unfortunate.
Who was it that just said everybody was mad because he's like, who's Van Halen?
Probably Billie Eilish, yeah. But then it's weird though, as a mother, you know, like, is it like when your child is like, I don't know what that is, you're like, oh my god, I failed as a parent. What do you mean you haven't seen all 3 Back to the Futures? Like, you know, it's like those kind of things. You have to make sure that you instill it into the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, you know, or just make it accessible for them. But
you know, I gave my son an iPod full of music. And, you know, 300 different artists, and he came out of it liking the Beastie Boys, and that's enough for me. If he walks away from his life experience with me liking the Beastie Boys, I've done one good thing, you know?
There we go.
So, your music, how do you write it? Is it strictly one person writing everything? Do you collaborate together? Is it like a random jam session that you don't put lyrics to?
Well, I would like to touch on that.
Okay, go
So,
ahead.
ever since he joined the band against my will, it was a different writing experience because we had like played music together at home. Whatever, we'll jam out sometimes. Those are great nights when we have like jam sessions and we're just having fun. But I felt like I felt stuck the first time I was writing with him. And Sorry Not Sorry was definitely this guy's, and it took probably a whole year for us to actually write it. Meaning, it took a year for Aaron to finish writing it, because I was
The
just
music
so.
was good in a week.
It's weird because I was like so mad about the fact that they were forcing him upon me, although he is amazing. Okay, he's amazing, and I'm so lucky to have him as the guitar player in my band. But
Actual guitar player.
actual guitar player.
Yeah. I had to
But-
list on Facebook as not guitar player for a whole year
Now
before I was
it's
allowed
changed.
to change it.
It's changed now to actual guitar player. So that was I feel like that song you came in, you were like, oh, here's this, and you came up with it really quick. Some songs, we do jam them out, and that's what we wrote. Sometimes
The Farmer's Widow was the one song we wrote.
Yeah, but that was finished. I finished writing that
in
the studio.
Yeah.
Like, it was my turn. So like a 2-day studio session is like 10 minutes for me. So I sit around while they record all their stuff. But then I just remember walking into the booth like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? And then it is what it is now, and it's like it just came together. So like
when I stepped into the MoodPill world for the first time, it was just as a listener, and I was lucky to walk into a band that had an album's worth of songs basically already written, and I'm also very lucky that every time I present a change to one of those already written songs, everybody really embraces it. Everybody's willing to try anything. So a lot of the songs that we have recorded, I do have my own parts. I don't think any of it is really played like any of the other guys haven't played them. But everybody's really receptive. So even with these old songs, there is a feeling of writing new material, playing them sometimes the way we do for the first time. And as far as writing new songs, I did come in with that one song already written because I kept sitting and listening to them jam through the floor. And I'd just be playing a bass or a guitar and came up with a riff. I said, you guys should take this riff. I just wrote it. And she's like, yeah, maybe. And then I wrote this other riff. Take it, you guys. All right, fine, I'll be the guitar player and we're going to play this song now. And so that one song did kind of work that way. But everything since then has really been an outstanding display of what can happen when people are on the same level and kind of we all find the groove. We all know what we've done so far. We all know how it could evolve and what we can bring to the table to make it happen. And then we all kind of understand that we're 90s guys too. And there was a big moment where we had to stop fighting that, I feel like, when we broke out some of these chords that had been used before in ways that had been used before. We kind of we stopped saying, well, let's not play that because we sound like somebody else. And it was always, Clutch or Korn or the Deftones, all these 90s bands. But eventually, we just kind of let it happen.
That's who we are. It's not who we're trying
natural.
to be.
We're not going down into the basement and saying, all right, let's rip off the Deftones today.
No.
Right. I think any genuine musician is just so heavily influenced by so many things. They just don't pay attention to what it sounds like as long as they are happy with it.
Yeah. And there was a kind of like a long period of insecurity as a first-time guitar player for myself too. And so as far as like playing something, I have that extra weight of not only does it maybe sound like somebody else, but maybe it doesn't sound good enough. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. But everybody is really supportive, and that kind of helped me as a guitar player and as far as writing songs. Everybody being supportive of everybody else's ideas has been something we've really been blessed with in this project,
Yeah.
in this incarnation of the project.
Yeah. No, I think everybody does have a piece in the whole writing thing, and our songs are like always evolving. When we record it in the studio, and then we listen to it even like 30 days later, we're like, we don't even play
Yeah.
it like that anymore.
And the song we were talking about, the Farmer's Widow, even one of my favorite parts of that song now was the guitar riff Erin came up with, where it kind of breaks down like this Black Sabbath sound. It's pretty. That's all her riff, and then the drummer does a blah 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 when we're doing it, and then all of a sudden we're all going blah 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 with him, and it's still what Erin wrote, but it's how we play it.
So we've talked about what you like as music, what inspires you, how you do it. What about your fan base? And I don't want to include me because I shouldn't be included in this.
Well, our other fan is also really
our
nice.
other fan.
How do you interact with your fans? Do you are you super thrilled to always engage them? You haven't had any stalkers yet, have you?
No, I keep asking for them. I'm like, and then they don't come. No, but we obviously when shows were happening, that was like my favorite part. I love having the merch set up because it gives like a table for people to come to afterwards and like talk with people, and you meet all these new people, and like that's so much fun. And I always take music though as something I do for me and not for others. Like I know that I don't have any like grand illusions like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be, paying the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it if it would, but then would I? If it became like that, and it's just fun because you get to meet all these fun and cool people, and I have so many more friends through the whole scene. And we're not. I don't know. What are we doing? Like maybe a week, once a week. I say once a week. It's probably been like 2 weeks since MoodPill has even posted anything.
Yeah.
But managing social media, as you know, is kind of
It can be a job.
it is a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. I took a week
it's not
off.
It's sort of like, could we do it? Yeah, but you also don't want to be annoying. I see some people out there, and they're a little bit like, it's like too much.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you gotta bring it down. I
So
want to be
there's-
like, here's the plate of food. Come and enjoy it if you want.
There is a little bit of exploration and experimentation to kind of really see what people react with. It's always really great at shows, meeting the fans, everybody, especially in there's a couple of different groups of bands that we've kind of aligned with just by fate, and it's always a great group of people, a great group of musicians and all these other bands. Everybody seems to be very supportive of each other,
Yeah.
and
There is still a scene.
There is. The Rochester metal scene is very friendly, despite what people think.
Yeah.
And as far as like interacting online, everybody seems very supportive. I did have that one stalker, but I took care of him. It was fine.
Ooh.
What?
You?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he's
I haven't
pretending.
thought
He's
yet.
he's lying. I had a stalker.
Like her. I wish I had a stalker.
Hey, be grateful. Some super fans are kind of creepy.
Especially, when you look this good. I think that we kind of find ourselves having to set aside some time to really engage with fans on a social media level that seems like we've kept up with what the fans deserve and kind of what they expect.
Yeah.
Some real moments of engaging in conversation. We try to do as many like giveaways and live streams as we can, give away tickets to the gigs.
Yeah.
And those seem to be engaging, and you do make friends. You make lifelong fans when you do things like that. We've seen those people stick around, and then it comes to how do you branch out and find more fans? And so it's kind of trying to find where our music fits in, because we do play in the metal scene a lot, but we are fairly genre neutral.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, look at who I mentioned.
Yeah.
Artist, which I think is hilarious, because the boys are like, oh, we like metal. I love metal too. I really do. I'm like hardcore girl as well, but it is softer, and just being a woman in the scene, just that there's a little shunning or just hate for no reason.
Are you really a metal fan, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or are you here because your boyfriend's here? Or yeah.
Oh man, it's the other way around. I'm only there because she is.
Do you guys still get performance anxiety at all? Does it freak you out for shows?
I think if that ever goes away, then I'll be sad.
Okay.
I think I'm always nervous, and I think that's a good thing. It's a good nervous. He doesn't get nervous at all, so he doesn't understand it. But it's like that butterfly, but then it's good. If I went up there and I was like,
it's like a kick in the ass almost, right?
I'd be like,
Yes, I've just been very lucky. Again, I've been playing gigs since I was 14 and 15, and I think I was a little nervous before my first gig ever, but I was 3 minutes into playing that gig when I realized I was doing what I was put on the earth to do, and I've never had a moment of stage fright since then. But sometimes it can be problematic because I'll look at other people and not understand the nerves. Even, guys in other bands, guys in this band, I try not to forget that it can be nerve-wracking for other people, and I try not to be a douche about it. What are you nervous about? Relax. That doesn't help anybody.
What advice would you give someone starting out on their musical journey? It doesn't matter what genre they're in. Like, what is some solid advice for someone that wants to be a musician now?
That's a heavy question. I don't even know if there's a good answer. I totally support the arts. Do what you love and whatever, but I even hate to say it, but the only time I've made a lot of money is when I sang in a cover band.
Yeah.
Right.
Which sucks. So, still, I would say just play with your heart, do your thing, write your music, but
I would say if you're really just starting out, you got to commit, and you have to commit at a level that you've probably never committed to anything up until that point. There was a time where I didn't leave the house, from 5th to 6th grade because I went home and I sat in the room with a guitar for 2 years.
I thought you were going to go a different way with that.
In between playing guitar, yeah.
You were discovering yourself.
Yeah, I'd rub my guitar all over myself.
Oh my God.
Come on. But, it's not going to be quick, and it's not going to be easy. And the thing that worked the best for me, the thing that progressed me most musically, was to have been lucky enough to find older, better musicians who would play with you and encourage you. And you got to be smart enough to listen to them and do things you're not comfortable with. Of course, you're scared to go up and play bass for the first time with a blues band, but you'll get through it.
Yeah.
And if these musicians around you are real musicians, they'll help you get through it.
It is cool what I see, these days, how they have like camp rock and stuff. Like, that's really awesome for like the younger generation, like to do something that, we just happen to get blessed with. I feel like back in the 90s and stuff, only one Josh's mom would let us jam in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It was Where now, it's everywhere. I mean, everybody is, well, it's almost saturated, but.
Another one of my main influences I didn't get to list earlier would have been my father. Again, not a guy I listen to on the regular, but a main influence. He was deep into music also and had a fully set up jam room from as far back as I can remember. From when I was born, there was
Harry
music in the house. Yeah, Harry Roberts.
Rochester
Find him on
famous.
Facebook. He's famous. And he's known for playing acoustic guitar and singing, but he's the other baddest bass player in town. All of this growing up.
Fun fact: he also was in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes.
Yes, which I have on VHS tape. So.
Yeah. And if it ever comes around again, he and I are going to compete for the part of Kyle.
Yeah.
So we know you're doing your remix and musics to keep busy during COVID. What else are you guys doing? Because this is a fucking mess, and everyone is like, even on a personal level, what are you guys fucking doing? Because everyone says this is a time of opportunity. I kind of say that's wrong, but
you are wrong, sir. You are wrong. Well, at the beginning, I feel like I was more trapped. Like it was where you had those emotional days, you would start crying for no reason, and like I just felt sad for everything, for humanity, for my child, for like everything. And then it became like I got a little bit better, but not doing a lot. Like yesterday was a big day for me because I actually went to the store with him, but he is the hunter and gatherer. And besides that, I have not left the house. But yesterday was amazing. I spent way too much money, $500. But anyway, because I was like, yes to this. So long. But he goes out every day, and gathers the food and goes to the store and does the things.
Put my life on the line for them tater tots.
Figuring out like the homeschooling thing with B. Yeah. We do music. We watch a lot of TV. I'm like on it.
I think
Cuomo, Trump.
Yeah, I saw you guys are very plugged in to the Trump speeches.
And I think that it has been a really big cushion to have psychologically to at least feel like we're paying attention to what's going on, to feel like you have some knowledge of what's really happening. And if you kind of have your Trump speech every day, and then Andrew Cuomo every day, and then you find out right in the middle somewhere is
right. It takes a little bit of practice to figure out what really is going on between everything.
Well, and I like to watch it too because it feels like I'm in control a little bit. I don't like to just read the articles. I do read the articles, but words are so important. And when people are saying like CNN twist Trump words, it makes him sound like a crazy person. Well, sometimes just like how important it is where you put a comma or a period, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I like to listen to it from the horse's mouth.
Right.
I don't know.
I have, I think, recently come to the realization, and it was like maybe a 2 or 3 step process, that I've spent entirely too much time trying to change other people's minds. I think.
When did you decide that? 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of been like yesterday and today, and it was this Ralph Waldo Emerson quote that I found on Facebook and I reposted, where he mentions that it would be a vulgar mistake to assume that I was persecuted every time I was contradicted. Which sounds like a simple thing, just because somebody's contradicting you doesn't mean they're persecuting you.
Right.
And in order to have a worthwhile conversation on a controversial subject, the person on the other side of that conversation needs to understand that because I'm contradicting you does not mean I'm persecuting you. It doesn't mean I don't like you as a person.
It's nothing personal at all.
No, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, politics is a pretty hairy subject, especially because of the COVID stuff. The primaries alone are like shut down. It doesn't matter so much right now to people as what the fuck else is going on. Like, poor and black communities dying and starving because of COVID and all this other garbage that, like, well, it's not garbage, sorry, but
Right.
it's
No, I know what you mean.
yeah, like, to be quite honest, I'm just really tired of people thinking Andrew Cuomo's this great guy. Because before this, he was shitty. Like, he cost New Yorkers like almost $14 billion over highway signs. Like,
Okay, that was a big misstep. That was a big misstep.
and like, he mansplains Me Too. He makes ill-advised jokes about like harassment in general to people. Like, oh,
Flavored vape away.
He took the flavored vape away.
He took the flavored vape away, yeah. He called most New Yorkers extreme conservatives, which was like, why the fuck am I voting for you again?
I just like him because he sends me money.
Like, he's got his head on straight for this fucking thing. He's doing what he can, and I get that. And I understand people praising him for his humanitarianism, but I don't want him for a president. God, no.
I think, and again, I may be more inclined solely because I wasn't really paying attention to him before this. He wasn't on TV every day. My mother was a big fan of his father.
Mario.
So the Cuomo name has always kind of held some regard in my house growing
New
up.
York in general, absolutely.
Yeah. But it was, like my mother loved Jimmy Carter. My mother loved Mario Cuomo. She would sing their praises. And so, I kind of, as far as what I've been exposed to recently, even today, I wrote Cuomo a letter today. He'll probably never read it. But
Well, you shouldn't have attached that picture.
That's true. But he said some things today about how former maybe it was Eisenhower or Truman, Roosevelt, who was the governor of New York that went on to be president, did all these models in New York and then took them to the national level. And he has really, compared to what else is out there, Cuomo has been a voice of reason throughout this entire thing.
Oh, absolutely. He has been one of the better governors of New York, I'll say that, but he isn't exactly. I think there could be better, and a lot of people like overlook like the Green Party and stuff like that. Like my district, we re-elected someone for like House Representative who was being indicted for like money laundering and fraud. Like, what the fuck?
It's because people don't pay attention, and generally,
You're the only voter that knew that fact,
right? Because it's so easy to not pay attention. I used to be like really big into politics, especially when I was like in college and I was very active and blah blah blah. And then after 9/11, I think us going to war, Patriot Act, all this shit. It kind of soured me, so I like dumbed myself down and like started reading TMZ. Honestly, I did this on purpose. Like I made myself dumber and just like Kardashians. Yes.
Rebimbification, as it's called.
Yeah, and I was like, because this. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but okay. So dumber people are happier, right?
Yeah.
Because if you know everything, then it's fucking scary and it's terrifying, and that's why like really smart people kill themselves all the time. Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, absolutely.
So for like a long time after college and everything, like I've been involved in law stuff, but like not politics stuff as much. Like especially the local stuff when it comes to like Andrew Cuomo, I would always say, oh, I love him because I would get those stimulus checks every year, as being a homeowner or whatever they were for. I don't even know, but I used to call them the vote for me checks.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like,
Yeah,
why
whatever.
would you not vote for someone who's helping you financially, which is
Right,
something
like,
everyone struggles with?
but I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. Do I know that living in New York was my last job? I was traveling a lot, so I could have lived anywhere in the country and made more money because I was doing this, I was working from home and flying on an airplane. Like, I mean, I was going all over the place. And if I lived anywhere besides New York, I would have more money in my pocket. I love New York, man. I just do. And I know there's like stupid corruption everywhere, but we have good schools.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got roads. I mean,
There-
even the sign thing. We have unnecessary signs on the highway.
I totally understand. I came back to New York and I stayed here because I had a child. Like, the educational system alone was enough for me. But it, like, there are certain blind spots in the world, and it's unfortunate because even though like the blind spots to like the overall country like election, like there the amount of I don't know how hard I raged when Bernie dropped out, and I understand why he did it. I'm not one of those people that thinks he sold out at all, but like it like I cried, I think.
I've seen it, and
because his Biden.
Biden is not what we need. Like, he's gonna like not help that much. Like, he will probably do a few good things. I'll give him a few good things, but overall he's going to roll back so many things. It's going to be like in the early 2000s when you're like, and it's not, the early 2000s weren't that great. Like
not even musically.
yeah, only musically.
Name one. No.
Well, and you mentioned what the country needs right now, and as far as a better candidate for on the blue side, Bernie would have been great, and Bernie would have been amazing, and I felt the same way also. And had he gotten the Democratic nomination, it would have been a landslide, right?
Oh, landslide.
Absolutely.
But and then, as much as I would support Joe, just because of Barack Obama ties in, Barack was my guy. I loved him.
I love Obama.
But as far as what's now, if
He's so cool.
and again, I know you have more Cuomo knowledge than I do, and I know that I could learn a thing or two from you. But if Cuomo could run a presidency like he gave his speech today, or run a presidency like he gave the last couple of speeches, that's what the country needs. I'm not saying he could do it. I'm not saying he could be that president. But if he could be the president that he was today on TV,
I can understand the sentiment. Like, he is a very steady person in this crisis. He is
every day he's on.
Yeah.
The guy hasn't once blamed somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you think he has
He
nipple
blame me.
rings?
He'll be like, blame me.
He said
Tell him it's my fault.
He hasn't said once, look at the good job I'm doing. Hasn't done it once.
He's genuine when he talks about the loss and the death and the hurt.
Oh, absolutely. I believe like he is an absolute humanitarian.
But Trump spent 4 whole minutes on it of all of the things. I mean, and he's just so.
And if you want to take the feeling and the emotion of how I feel about Trump out of the conversation, and just go with what he said and how he said it and when he said it and how just weird and bizarre it all is. It's hard to believe. Some of the Bush stuff happening was hard to believe. Like, I can't believe George W. Bush would just do the things he did and be like, yep, I'm doing that.
I mean, if you take a page from his father, it's not too surprising.
Not at all, except for how public it was. It was so just right out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not even trying to hide how shady his whole corporation was. And Trump is that exponentially multiplied.
Yeah.
Not giving a fuck.
And that's why a lot of people are drawn to him, to be quite honest. It's the fact that he does not give a fuck. Like, as they call it, big dick energy. Like.
See, here's the thing. I want to break a rule just like you want to break a rule and you want to break a rule, and it's kind of fun to be like, yeah, you can't tell me what to do, but I also understand why like rules and regulations need to be in place. we have to have seatbelt laws because people are stupid.
Yeah.
We, plastic has killed, humanity as we know it because now it's saving all the babies. They used to just, bounce along the back seat in a bassinet. Now we have car seats and all this stuff. I think sometimes it does go too far. You shouldn't have to have like.
There is a point where
Seatbelt.
security becomes security theater, where it's not really useful. It's just there to make you feel safe. Like the masks right now is how I see that. Is it's security theater. It's not really going to protect anyone else but you, and it's really just keeping your stuff to yourself.
Like an exit door procedure at 30,000 feet.
Right. This is how you exit the airplane.
It's a direct fight club quote,
Which
by the way.
is funny because because I traveled a lot and I traveled through SARS and what's the other one? Was it M1?
N1H1?
No, and
You know who calls it that, right? Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. But
Sleepy Creepy Joe.
You would see some Chinese people would always wear masks when we'd be traveling, and especially when all these things would come out like SARS and what's the other one? I can't think.
MERS.
I don't know, maybe.
Bird flu.
But they, maybe they had something to it. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I yesterday in my shopping trip, there was a guy with a winter scarf around his face. Did you see that guy?
No.
Oh my God. He just took his winter scarf and wrapped it around his face.
Yeah.
He's covering.
So, and I mentioned that as bad as you want to change somebody's mind, it makes me think of yesterday. The guy whose mind I was trying to change said, darn right, we should pull all the funding from the WHO and invest all of that money, all 400 million, into one big bomb and aim it at China and tell them we'll use it if they cause another pandemic. And the guy was serious.
Oh my God.
And these are the people that are drawn to him. Oh
no, I feel you. Right down the road is a man who flies Trump 2020 flags off his truck everywhere in town. And he's got one in his yard.
Bad for gas mileage, and they're therefore bad for the
they just
environment.
don't care.
I know
They don't care. Climate change is a hoax.
Yeah.
So is coronavirus.
Yeah.
So that's our new hope.
Oh man. So I'm gonna wrap this up with a question. Do you have any plans for the future? I know the future is super unknown, and are you writing new music?
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Been doing a lot of writing. Whether or not it's stuff we can bring into the MoodPill world or not, I'm not sure. A lot of it is piano based. Erin, also a better piano player than me.
Shut up.
But I know that I want her to be want her to be involved with it, whether it's MoodPill or not. But I'd like to think a lot of it can translate to new music from the band in the near future. We have agreed to expand our circle slightly and include the drummer and bass player, who are trustworthy gents. We have our first practice in months, in a few days. So we can certainly update you there. Plans for the future in general, I want to build a tree house. We were going to set up the slip and slide, I think, today.
Nice.
What
Wait,
else?
we don't have a tree or a slip and slide. So fact check.
And,
Yeah, the future is super unknown. It I know that no one knows when they're gonna be playing shows again. Phase 3 is when everything gets to open up again, and phase 3 might not come. So
we did book a gig, which is being called a social distancing show, which is on a nice big piece of farm property and can happen socially distant if it has to.
Mm-hmm.
That will be July 19th.
Yeah.
Way out in the country.
But it's still, we're not promoting it. We're still feeling it out.
Right.
We've signed up for it, but
and there's going to be a lot of actual social distancing in place. Roped off areas, and it's going to be an experiment. And like Cuomo says, we'll turn the valve if it gets too hot. We turn it off.
Yeah.
Hey, That's at least something. It's something to at least hope for, and
Yes.
I completely understand the itch to want to get out. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, as far as plans for the future with this gal, you know, keep making music, keep kissing her on the face. You know, we do have this ritual every day when Cuomo comes on. You know, Cuomo comes on, the clothes come off.
Nope,
You know?
do you believe he has nipple rings?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Totally believe it.
It might not stop at the nipples either. You know?
Think so? Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
For having
Again, this is Erin and Pyntch for MoodPill. I will link everything in the description for you guys to check them out. And I'll obviously the intro and outros, they're gonna be their music, so enjoy.
Yeah, that's it. But no.
All right. So thank you guys.
time.
Thank you.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan!
Yeah.